Yeah, we're digging into the sources behind this project called AI Podcast at DigitView.
Ah, yes, AI podcast at DigitView. Their whole approach is quite ambitious, isn't it? Something like 365 episodes.
One for every day of the year, yeah.
Wow.
And it's based on this core belief, this idea that small daily steps in learning can really add up, that it contributes to a more, well-informed society, maybe even a more civilized one, as they put it.
Incremental learning for a better society.
Exactly.
Right.
And their foundational idea, looking at the source materials, it's actually quite profound.
Okay, so what if we thought about artificial intelligence? Not just as a tool, not just for getting things done faster or whatever,
Right.
but more like a mirror, something that could help us really look at ourselves, understand human nature a bit better, maybe see the world differently.
That's a really interesting way to put it, and it actually gets right to the heart of what we're looking at today in this deep dive.
Oh, yeah.
It's pretty remarkable, isn't it? When you really stop and think about how complex it is just to be, you. Our thoughts, they twist and turn, feelings get tangled up, and, sometimes our actions just feel completely contradictory.
Yeah, totally paradoxical sometimes.
So the sources we have, they detail their core philosophy, and they propose these specific ways their AI concepts might work. Our mission here, really, is to unpack that blueprint. We want to look at their core belief about human nature being the key starting point,
The foundation.
Exactly, the foundation. And then explore the ways they see this AI actually helping us out. We want to kind of zero in on what parts of this big idea might really click with you.
And what jumps out right away in their material is this foundational claim they make. They state, understanding the fundamentals of human nature is a science in itself.
Wow, okay. Not just philosophy.
No, not casual musing at all. They frame it as like a rigorous, systematic science. Think biology for living things or physics for the universe. That's how they're approaching human nature.
So like a system with rules.
Exactly. Identifiable rules, patterns, and they're explicit that this view is the absolute bedrock for their whole AI project.
That framing, it really shifts things, doesn't it? Away from just seeing human behavior as messy or random.
It does. It suggests there are underlying structures we can actually study. And they explain this science of human nature isn't just one thing, it's multidisciplinary.
Pulling from different fields.
Right. Drawing insights from lots of established areas to pinpoint what they see as these core, predictable, and importantly, universal patterns that define us as a species.
Okay, so where do they start pulling from? Which fields?
Well, the source material points first to evolutionary psychology. This field helps tackle the why. Why we have certain innate behaviors.
Historical reasons.
Sort of, yeah. The deep ancestral reasons. It suggests things like our need for social connection, or maybe that instant fear response to spiders, or even how we choose partners. These aren't just random.
They're adaptations.
Viewed as psychological adaptations, yeah.
Yeah.
Sculpted by natural selection over ages because they helped our ancestors survive, reproduce. The source uses language as a key example.
How so?
Well, our capacity for language isn't just something we learn culturally. It's seen as this biological predisposition, something kind of hardwired into our brains.
Okay, so that's the evolutionary why. Then they bring in neuroscience. What does that add?
Neuroscience gets into the how these fundamentals actually map onto the brain's physical structures and chemical processes.
Mechanics.
Exactly, like empathy, feeling what others feel. The source mentions it correlates with activity in specific brain circuits, like mirror neurons.
I've heard of those. They fire when you watch someone else do something.
Right, exactly, as if your brain is mirroring their experience. They also mention brain scans, like fMRI, showing the interplay between our emotional centers, the limbic system, and the more rational parts, like the prefrontal cortex, when we make, say, moral decisions.
So you can almost see the biology of conscience at work.
That's the idea. Mapping the feeling to the hardware, like you said.
Right. And then there's behavioral genetics. Sounds like the part of nature versus nurture.
Pretty much. It looks at the hereditary side by studying twins, adopted siblings, that kind of thing. Researchers estimate how much our DNA influences traits.
Like personality.
Like extroversion, conscientiousness, even if you're predisposed towards anxiety. The takeaway from the source isn't that it's all genetics, but that we aren't blank slates. We come with a sort of genetic blueprint that shapes our tendencies.
Okay, so deep history, brain wiring, genetic tendencies. But we see patterns across cultures too, right?
Absolutely. And that's where anthropology and sociology come in. They provide crucial cross-cultural evidence.
How?
By looking at vastly different societies, isolated tribes in the Amazon compared to, say, downtown Tokyo anthropologists find these human universals.
Things everyone does.
Pretty much. Behavior, social structures found in nearly every culture. The source lists things like music and dance and rituals, marriage as an institution, a sense of fairness, reciprocity, mourning the dead.
And because they're everywhere.
It suggests they're fundamental to being human, not just local customs. Deeply ingrained.
Wow, it's like building this incredibly detailed picture of us piece by piece from all these scientific angles.
That's exactly it. And they tie it straight back to the AI. DigitView's goal for AI to understand us is based on this idea human nature is a system, complex, yes, but a system with rules and patterns.
And decoding that system is step one.
Step one, they argue, for building AI that can genuinely get the nuances of human existence and actually help us.
Which leads right into their core philosophy about the AI itself. If I'm getting this right, they're saying AI needs to grasp all this complexity, the good, the bad, the contradictory, before it can really help.
Precisely. It's not just about crunching data. It's about understanding the human context of that data.
Okay.
And they position their podcast, the AI podcast at DigitView, as sort of a demonstration of this, a way to explore human questions and show how the AI, based on its programming and this understanding, might respond.
So the podcast is like a proof of concept in a way.
Conceptually, yeah. And the ultimate aim they describe, it's huge. Make life easier, boost understanding, ease burdens for people, no matter their background or beliefs.
And the AI in this vision acts like a mirror.
That's the metaphor they use. A mirror reflecting back insights about ourselves. Insights drawn from how it processes all of this complex human data and the underlying science of our nature.
AI as a mirror, reflecting our own complexity. Okay, so how does this philosophy actually translate into, like, practical help? They talk about a framework, right? 3 types of AI.
That's right. They propose this triad of specialized AI functions: balance AI, adaptive AI, and reality AI.
And these aren't finished products yet, more like concepts illustrated with examples.
Exactly. The source is clear it's a blueprint, not case studies. But the examples they give are pretty detailed, showing how these might work across different parts of life.
Okay, cool. This is where it gets really interesting, seeing the potential application. Let's start with balance AI. What's the core idea?
Balance AI is designed to help people find equilibrium. But, and this is key, not some static, perfect balance, because that's not really how life works, is it?
Not usually, no.
Right. It's about navigating the constant push and pull, competing priorities, desires, the stuff that makes life complex, helping manage that dynamic.
So managing the messiness, not eliminating it.
You got it. And their examples make it clearer. Take work-life integration. Someone feels overwhelmed, right?
Common problem.
So the balance AI might analyze their routines, how they spend time, maybe even stress indicators perhaps, drawing on those neuroscience principles we talked about.
Okay.
And then it suggests personalized strategies, maybe delegating tasks, setting firmer boundaries, actually scheduling time for family or hobbies, or just rest, aiming for sustainability.
That sounds genuinely useful for modern life. What about, say, mental and emotional well-being?
Similar idea. If someone's dealing with anxiety, the AI could offer things like guided mindfulness or maybe techniques from CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy.
Right, practical tools.
Yeah, tools to help identify and challenge those negative thought loops. Maybe reminders for activities that help clear your head. The goal is helping the user see and manage that interplay between thoughts, feelings, and physical health.
And financial health. How does balance apply there?
Well, the source suggests it can help build a budget that's truly balanced. Not just bills and savings, but also allowing for discretionary spending, the fun stuff, personal growth stuff.
He said that's part of balance, too.
Exactly. And it might offer simulations, like if you make this choice, here's the likely long-term impact, helping make decisions that support overall equilibrium, not just optimizing one number.
Okay, those examples paint a good picture of balance AI. Let's move to the second one. Adaptive AI. What's the concept here?
Adaptive AI is all about learning and evolving with you, the individual.
Yeah.
It learns from your experiences, your changing tastes, your goals as they shift over time.
So it's not static, it grows with you.
That's the core idea. It stays relevant because it adapts. Think about lifelong learning or changing careers. The source imagines using this AI as like a personal learning guide. It figures out the skills you need, finds relevant courses or articles, tracks your progress, and adjusts its recommendations as you learn. It adapts the path.
Wow, okay. In today's world, that kind of personalized learning support could be huge. What about relationships? How would it adapt there?
Well, It could help you understand your own communication style, maybe your emotional triggers, possibly based on how you describe interactions or input you provide.
Helping you see your own patterns.
Right. By reflecting those patterns back, it could offer insights into potential conflict areas or suggest, healthier ways to express your needs or handle disagreements. It's about personal growth in how you connect.
And health and fitness. How does adaptation work there?
It's pictured as a super personalized health coach, going beyond just a fixed plan.
How so?
It might adjust your workout intensity or diet tips based on how you feel today, your energy, your sleep quality, progress towards goals. If you get injured, it adapts the plan for recovery. It's constantly learning and tweaking based on your current state.
That responsiveness seems crucial. Okay, pillar number 3, reality AI. Given, everything going on with information overload, this sounds vital.
It really does. Reality AI is conceived as a tool to help us sort through the noise, distinguishing objective facts from subjective takes, biases, even misinformation.
A critical thinking assistant.
Basically, yeah. An aid for critical thinking in this info-saturated age.
So how would it help with, say, reading the news? Media literacy.
Okay, so you come across some controversial news story. The source suggests reality AI could analyze it for bias, check the source's credibility, maybe pull up different perspectives from other reputable places.
It doesn't tell you the truth.
No, it empowers you to form a more informed opinion, giving you tools and context, making you less likely to be swayed by just sensationalism or propaganda.
That kind of source checking and perspective widening feels essential now. What about applying it to our own beliefs? Personal stuff.
Yeah, this was really interesting. It could guide you through introspection, examining your own long-held beliefs, assumptions, maybe even biases you aren't aware of.
How? Like therapy?
Maybe more like guided reflection. The source mentions using Socratic questioning, asking probing questions, presenting counter-arguments, helping you understand why you believe something, and consider other valid viewpoints.
Using AI to look inward more deeply.
Kind of reinforces that AI as a mirror idea again, doesn't it? Reflecting our internal landscape.
It does. And finally, understanding big, complex global issues.
Right. Things like climate change, economic inequality, so many layers. Reality AI could help break it down, present key data, summarize expert opinions from different fields, science, economics, whatever, explain potential consequences of different policies.
Aiming for a more nuanced picture.
Exactly. Helping you build a more comprehensive grasp of these really complex challenges.
So reality AI isn't about giving you answers, but giving you the tools to find better, more informed answers yourself.
That's the core concept. Tools to navigate complexity, spot bias, get closer to a balanced view.
Okay, so these 3 concepts, balance, adaptive, reality, AI, they operate under some kind of ethical framework. The source mentions a code.
Yes, and crucially, they call it a living document. That phrasing is really important.
Why living?
It implies this isn't set in stone. It signals a commitment to ongoing ethical refinement. As tech evolves, as society's values shift, the rules guiding these AIs need to adapt too.
So it's designed to be updated, improved continuously.
That's the implication. And tied to that,
Right.
The source includes this call to action, almost a plea for humans to make it better than now. Meaning the development shouldn't just be technical. It needs to be a collaborative human effort. These powerful tools, they argue, have to be shaped by diverse human values, experiences, our collective wisdom.
Okay, so when we put it all together, the science of human nature's foundation, AI as a mirror, these 3 pillars, it feels like the mission of this AI podcast at DigitView is way bigger than just putting out episodes.
Much bigger, yeah. According to the source, they see themselves as inviting listeners on a journey, described as about a year long.
A journey of
Self-discovery, definitely, informed by this scientific take on human nature, but also societal reflection. How could these tools actually fit into our lives, maybe even enhance them?
And the underlying promise through all of this is what?
The promise seems to be that truly understanding our own fundamental nature, maybe in this more systematic way, is the essential first step.
The first step towards what?
Towards building a better future.
Yeah.
And critically, doing that with the help of thoughtfully designed artificial intelligence.
It's a really layered, quite compelling vision they've put out there. We've unpacked their core idea, human nature as a science, then AI as this mirror reflecting us. And those 3 concepts, balance AI for life's juggling act, adaptive AI for growth, and reality AI for navigating truth. So just thinking about that central idea, If understanding the science of your nature reveals predictable patterns, how might knowing that change how you see yourself?
Right.
Or maybe how you interact with others? And thinking about those three concepts, balance, adaptive, reality AI, which one just intuitively feels most interesting or maybe most useful for you right now?
It's a good question to ponder.
Yeah.
And it leads to another one, maybe a bit more provocative, building on that idea of predictable patterns.
Okay.
If human nature does have these identifiable, predictable patterns, what does that really imply about, human free will? Does it change how we think about it? And if we accept that premise, how does that challenge us ethically when we design AI that uses this deep understanding of what makes us tick or how do we build it responsibly? Definitely something to chew on.
This is DigitView.